Your home looks basic, and you know it. Not because you have bad taste, but because everything you can actually afford looks like it came from the same discount shelf. And the stuff that looks expensive, way out of budget. But what if I told you that a ball of yarn and a hook can get you there for almost nothing? I've been crocheting home decor for a while now, and the number one thing people say when they see my pieces in person is, "Wait, you made that?" Because it doesn't look homemade. It looks like something you'd pay way too much for in a fancy home store. And today, I'm going to walk you through some of the most beautiful crochet home decor ideas that genuinely look store-bought, the kind of stuff that makes guests think you spent serious money. We're going to go through piece by piece, what to make, how to approach each one, what yarn and colors work best, little tips that separate a "this looks handmade" piece from a "this looks expensive" piece. Because yes, there is a difference, and most people skip the details that matter. Let's start with something that pretty much every home needs, and barely anyone thinks to crochet: table runners. A crocheted table runner done right is honestly one of the most elegant things you can put in a home. The reason most people's crocheted table runners end up looking a little off is because of yarn choice. This is the number one mistake. If you use a yarn that's too thick or too textured or the wrong fiber, it immediately looks craft fair instead of boutique. What you want for a table runner is a lightweight cotton yarn in a solid, neutral color. Think off-white, warm beige, dusty sage, or a muted terracotta. Those tones photograph well, they go with almost any table, and they look intentional rather than random. For the stitch pattern, you want something with a little texture, but not too much visual noise. Shell stitches work beautifully here. So does a simple mesh pattern, which has that open, airy look that a lot of high-end linen table runners have. A solid granny strip down the center, long and narrow, can also look really sleek if your color is right. The key thing about a table runner that takes it from "my aunt made this" to "I bought this at a home store" is the finishing. Your edges need to be clean. Add a border of single crochet all the way around. Block it flat after you're done. Yes, actually wet it, pin it out, and let it dry. Blocking is the thing most beginners skip, and it is the thing that makes the biggest difference. A blocked piece lays flat, looks even, and has that professional finish. An unblocked piece curls and puckers and gives it away immediately. Now let's talk about something that gets a huge reaction every single time: hanging wall hangings. Crochet wall hangings have had a major moment in home decor, and they're not going anywhere. The reason they look so good is because they have that handmade texture that you genuinely cannot get from a printed poster or a mass-produced wall piece. And when done well, they look like something you'd see tagged in a home design magazine. The secret to a wall hanging that looks designer is composition. You need to think about it like a real piece of art. What's the focal point? How does it flow? Does it feel balanced? A lot of people just go wide and straight across and call it a day, and it ends up looking flat. Instead, think about shape. Try a piece that tapers toward the bottom, with longer fringe in the center and shorter on the sides, so it has a triangular silhouette. That shape alone makes it look far more intentional. For yarn, neutral tones are your friend again. Cream, oatmeal, warm brown, soft rust. You can add one slightly different tone as an accent without it looking busy. And fringe is your best friend on a wall hanging. Loose, natural-looking fringe at the bottom adds that organic, textured quality that makes it look like something you'd find in a Scandinavian home goods store. Cut your fringe long, knot it close to the last row, and comb it out gently so it fans a little. For the actual pattern on a wall hanging, a combination of basic crochet stitches with some open lacework gives it visual depth. You don't need anything complicated. The contrast between solid rows and open mesh rows is already enough to make it look layered and interesting. Hang it on a smooth wooden dowel, the kind that you can find at any craft store, and the whole thing looks put together. Now let's move to something that might surprise you: crochet baskets and storage pieces. This is huge. Baskets are everywhere in home decor right now, and they are expensive. Seagrass baskets, wicker baskets, woven storage, all of it costs way more than it should. Crochet baskets made with the right materials look almost identical to the ones you see styled in home accounts online, and they cost a fraction of the price. The key here is material. You need a chunky, stiff yarn or cord. Macrame cord works brilliantly for this. So does a thick cotton rope or a t-shirt yarn, also called Zeppetti yarn. These materials have the body and rigidity to hold their shape, which is what makes a basket look real rather than floppy and soft. For the pattern, a basic round base going into straight walls is your starting point. Single crochet worked tightly through both loops gives you a very clean, defined stitch that looks almost woven from a distance. If you work the back loop only on your rounds, you get a nice ridge texture going around the outside, which looks really intentional and adds detail without being complicated. Keep your color choices simple: natural off-white, tan, warm gray. Those neutral tones make the texture the star, which is exactly what you want. If you want to add a little detail, you can do a stripe of a slightly different or contrasting tone near the top of the basket, just 1 or 2 rows. That single detail elevates the whole piece and gives it a finished look. These baskets are not just decorative, they're actually functional. You can put them on shelves for blanket storage, use them as planters with a pot inside, sit them on a coffee table to hold remotes, or use them in the bathroom for towels. And when someone asks where you got it, you just smile. Next up, throw pillows. A crocheted throw pillow done well is one of the best things you can add to a couch or bed. The texture of crochet on a pillow is just really satisfying to look at, and when the color and stitch are right, it looks like something from a very specific kind of slow-living, cozy home aesthetic that people pay big money to achieve. What makes a crochet pillow look expensive versus look homemade comes down to a few things. First, your yarn. Use a chunky to super chunky yarn in a matte finish. Avoid anything shiny or with too much variation in color. Solid, muted tones look most sophisticated. Think rust, camel, dusty blue, warm terracotta, sage green. These are the colors that end up on Pinterest boards about cozy homes, and for good reason, they work. For stitch patterns, bobble stitch pillows look absolutely stunning and have that raised three-dimensional texture that photographs so well. A pillow covered in baubles in a warm rust color looks like it costs $60, $70 at minimum. Waffle stitch is another one. It gives that grid-like texture that looks very modern and clean, and it works up pretty quickly. The star stitch and the popcorn stitch are also great choices if you want something with more visual interest. The cover needs to close properly to look finished. Sew on a few large buttons and make corresponding button loops on the opposite edge. Not only is this functional, but button closures add a design detail that makes the pillow look even more intentional. Use a pillow insert rather than stuffing directly. The shape stays much better, and it looks more like a real pillow. Make 2 or 3 in the same color family and cluster them together. Mixed textures in similar tones look very curated, and having more than one immediately elevates how the space reads. Now let's talk about plant hangers next, because this one is a bit of a cheat code. Macrame plant hangers are everywhere, and people love them, but crochet plant hangers have a slightly different look, a little more structured, a little more delicate, and they're just as beautiful. If you have plant houses, which honestly most people do now, a crochet pot hanger immediately makes that corner of the room look like it was styled on purpose. The basic construction of a crochet plant hanger is simple. You work from the bottom up, creating a net or cage structure that cradles the pot. Then you bring the strands together and up to create the hanging portion. The open net pattern works really well here. Chains and single crochets spaced to create a mesh that holds the pot without obscuring it. Again, your cord choice matters. Macrame cord or a thick cotton twine gives you that natural rope-like look. Natural white or undyed cotton looks very clean and modern. A warm tan or caramel-toned cord looks more bohemian and earthy. One tip that makes a huge difference: finish the top with a wrapped section rather than just a knot. Take your ends, gather them tightly, and do a series of tight wrapping stitches around the bundle to create a neat cylindrical joint. It looks much cleaner than a tied knot and immediately looks intentional and well made. Now let's get into something a little different: coasters. Coasters are small, they work up quickly, and a well-made set of crocheted coasters looks genuinely beautiful on a coffee table. The thing about coasters is that they're a detail item. They're small enough that people look at them closely, so your craftsmanship really shows. But that also means a well-executed set has a big impact for little effort. Use a medium-weight cotton yarn. Cotton is ideal for coasters because it's flat, it absorbs, and it has that slightly matte, linen-like texture that looks very grown-up. Colors work best when they're all from the same family, maybe 3 shades of the same tone, or all the same color for a very minimal look. The stitch